You're looking at Joe Burrow being the guy that I was in on the beginning of the year. Clearly, that is no longer an option. So where are we looking on this board? And I keep landing on the same thing, which is, Baker Mayfield's been kind of the story this year. Think about this. He's plus 950 for MVP. They look like right now one of the, if not the most formidable team in the NFC.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Great quarterback, the best quarterback in football. But when you play a 60-minute game of football on national TV and the referees do not call a single penalty against you when you committed 13 penalties the week before in a nationally televised loss, I'm sorry, but the jig is up.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
I apologize to our fans. We need to do better. That's all you need to say, Scott, right? But yeah. Tua goes out there, my kids love me. I'm rich. I don't care. You got your dumbass coach coming out here, and we play to win. You got to win the game, and you got to win. And, the Dolphins press conferences make it way worse. If I was a Dolphin fan, I just want to punch these guys in the face.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on...
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson here, as always. Some tough news right out of the gate. Just learned a few moments ago, as I was playing our pre-show music, that Terrence Trent D'Arby is no longer Terrence Trent D'Arby.
What do you mean?
His new name is Sananda.
Sananda?
Yeah. Sananda. Yeah.
I don't know if I can do the show now.
I don't know how I can do the show either. I'm like, I was looking for some wishing well, little pre-show action, and I'm not typing in Terrence Trent D'Arby, and there's no Terrence Trent D'Arby. It's now Sananda. Go figure. Anyway, we got a great show for you today. I'm starting today's show off with, I think, an appeal to the fine blue-collar, hardworking people of Cleveland, Ohio, a town that accepted me as one of their own. When I lived there from 1992 to 1993, had season tickets in the Dog Pound. I count Frank Minifield and Hanford Dixon as 2 of my closest friends in my year in Cleveland, and I really fell in love with the town. Great town, great people. Unfortunately, one of the worst sports towns in all of America. But after watching last night's game between the 2 40-year-old quarterbacks, Joe Flacco out-dueling Aaron Rodgers, and we'll get to that matchup in a second, I felt like someone has to speak up for the fine people of Cleveland, Ohio, who for years had to live with the moniker Mistake by the Lake, right? The old stadium that the Cleveland Indians played in, the Cleveland Browns played in before they started building new stadiums like the Jake and others in downtown Cleveland. Jimmy Haslam is the worst owner in the NFL, period, stop. I want to be clear about that. Andrew Berry is the worst general manager in the NFL, period, stop. And you find people of Cleveland deserve a lot better. Now, you might be saying, well, Craigie, the Cleveland Browns didn't play last night. What are you talking about? They kind of did play last night because 2 teams in their division were going head-to-head last night, and it was the Cleveland Browns that thought it was a good idea to send Joe Flacco, and I'm not saying he's the second coming of Jesus or of, pick your favorite quarterback, he's not, but he's a competent quarterback. They traded their starting quarterback within the division to the Cincinnati Bengals, and last night they paid the price for that. While the Cleveland Browns are trying to figure out if Dylan Gabriel is the starting quarterback, and every day they wake up, they got to deal with another video from the clown prince of the NFL, Shedeur Sanders, working out at a local high school because apparently the Browns facilities aren't good enough for him to actually get better at playing quarterback. So instead, he goes to a local high school with video cameras all around him, throwing passes to high school kids rather than work out with actual professional football players. And he wants a pat on the back for it. There's the video right there. I wanted to take a shot at Shedeur Sanders, but maybe he's right. Maybe Shedeur Sanders is right not to practice at the Browns facility because he's not going to get good coaching. He's not going to get support from the organization, and he's got the worst general manager in the sport. But when you look back on it, not that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to win a Super Bowl this year, they're not. But the fact that Andrew Berry traded their starting quarterback to a divisional team a week and a half before he's playing, in this case, the Pittsburgh Steelers, is just wrong. And the fine people of Cleveland deserve better. So I hope you watch this in Cleveland. I hope you send it to all your friends. It is time to fire Andrew Berry. It is time for Jimmy Haslam to sell the Cleveland Browns. He's a horrendous owner. He's the same doofus that gave Deshaun Watson $250 million guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
Before he got cleared of all the criminal charges against him with the massages and all that nonsense, right?
Yep.
He's the same guy that decided, I know what I'll do. I'll go into the season without a starting quarterback. I'll draft 2 quarterbacks in the same draft and then FUBAR the entire thing. And I'm sitting there watching the game last night, and while it was a great game, by the way, an entertaining game.
It was.
And I had no money on it, and neither did Tyrone. So just from a football standpoint, back and forth, touchdown for you, touchdown for me. And Jamar Chase, 25 targets and 16 catches. And I'm saying to myself, at any point, does Mike Tomlin think maybe it'd be a good idea to double team him?
Maybe mix
to
that
triple team
mix
him?
that in a little bit?
To not let Joe Flacco throw the ball to the only guy he's going to throw the football to? But to be honest, the entire time I'm watching last night's game, I'm feeling for the fine people of Cleveland, Ohio. They don't have much else. They don't. Cavaliers, unfortunately got injured going into the playoffs last year and embarrassed themselves. The Cleveland Indians, one and done this year. And the only thing you have in Cleveland to try to wrap your arms around is football. It is as much a football town as Green Bay, Wisconsin is. Mm-hmm. These are great people who have been long suffering for just a little taste of something. And then when you consider this is the same organization that ran Baker Mayfield out of town. They had a franchise quarterback, but he wasn't good enough for them. They had a decent, competent, veteran quarterback in Joe Flacco, wasn't good enough for them. And if you want to see a further point about just how bad the Browns are operated and how badly they are run, Joe Flacco last night looked like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. No turnovers, 350 yards, bunch of touchdowns, totally in control. Ball in his hand, final 2 minutes of the game, down by a point, led the team right down the field after a good kick return, got them into field goal range on a heads-up play by Higgins, not to go into the end zone, had to lay down at about the 6 or 7 yard line. Mm-hmm. That was really smart, high-level football IQ from T. Higgins. Give him credit for that. And I'm watching it going, boy, the Cleveland Browns, man. The Cleveland Browns, no joke, 10 days ago, had Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback, and their offense was terrible. And it obviously was not because of Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco proved, without even knowing the playbook, he could play quarterback.
He don't even know the plays.
Didn't know the plays. And yet that offense was humming, scored more than 30 points in a divisional game. And oh, by the way, because there was a divisional game, there's still a game under 500. They're back in the mix. Yeah. They are right back in the mix in that division. If they get that type of quarterback play out of Joe Flacco, they will stay in the mix for the remainder of the year. We'll get to the Pittsburgh side of it later on in the show. But to the fine people of Cleveland, I got your back. If nobody else in America will support you and defend you, I'll be the guy that does it. Andrew Berry should be fired today. Jimmy Haslam should sell the team today. The people of Cleveland deserve better. And I'll tell you what, Mike Tomlin had it right when he said earlier in the week at a press conference that it made no sense to him that a divisional opponent would actually trade their starting quarterback to a divisional team for what, a 5th-round pick, I think, in return, something like that?
Yeah, that's dependent.
Yeah,
it's also
5th or 6th
conditional.
round
Yeah,
pick, like,
conditional.
so a pick that's never going to make it
Yeah,
in the
conditional
NFL
pick,
it's like treason against Cleveland Browns fans. You deserve better. I will support you. I will be your mouthpiece. But the Cleveland Browns embarrassed themselves last night. And I'm sure when they sat back, if I'm the owner of the Cleveland Browns, how am I not on the phone at halftime telling my general manager, Barry, you're fired? Now, you had to green light it. You give him full autonomy to make the deal.
Right.
You're fired. What a lousy GM. What a lousy franchise. What a lousy owner. And they deserve better. That being said, Joe Flacco worked pretty good, man. I got to tell you, I did not see that coming. No one saw that coming. Pittsburgh certainly didn't see it coming. And what's amazing about it is I look at Pittsburgh totally different now.
Me too.
They couldn't stop the run. They gave up about 150 yards on the ground. They couldn't stop the one guy who was getting the ball literally every time Flacco dropped back. I mean, he had like 25 targets. He only threw the ball like, 40-some-odd times. So at least half or more of his attempts were to one dude.
Yeah, 23 or 47.
Okay.
So almost literally half. Yeah.
So at no point did Mike Tomlin say, hey, I have an idea. Let's guard that guy.
Right.
Let's put 2 defensive backs on that guy. Let's chip him at the line of scrimmage. That was the worst defensive performance I've ever seen from the Mike Tomlin team in a game that had they won it, the division is locked out and done. They could have cruised throughout November, December into January and been guaranteed winning the division. Because at 5-1, every other team in the division would have had 5 losses.
Yep, it's over.
You would have had a 4-game lead in the division with 11 games to go. It would have been a wrap. But now that you lose the game, you bring Cincinnati back into the picture, meaning Joe Burrow expediting his comeback now as Flacco holds the fort down. And you tell the Baltimore Ravens, you're not done just yet.
Not yet.
That was a brutal loss that is going to cost the Pittsburgh Steelers later on this season. We got lots to do, tons of football, huge baseball game tonight as well. We'll get into all of it, plus the college football right after this.
Let's do A.J. Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade A.J. Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he complained last year. He won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books, and he's blah, blah, blah. He's complaining this year, too. And he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards. And then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley, even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could go compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard. Keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like A.J. Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason. I think they're going to move him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you here. We're going to play a little game called, it's kind of like that Steven Crowder thing. I think Charlie Kirk, may rest in peace, did a similar version of it. Convince me I'm wrong. You know how that game works?
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a statement, and I'll give Tyrone an opportunity to convince me that I'm wrong.
All right.
All right. And by the way, if anybody downstairs thinks they can convince me I'm wrong, feel free to come right up here, sit down next to Tyrone, share the microphone, and get in on the action. All
Okay.
right? So it's become a weekly event on the
all right.
So it's under the headline, "Convince me I'm wrong."
All right. I got it.
That's called,
All
right? All right. Right now, today, Joe Flacco is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. Convince me I'm wrong. Can you convince me that I'm wrong?
I can't convince you that I'm wrong.
Okay, let me just give you one thing before you try.
Yeah.
Last night, I have it in front of me, Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 34, 249, 4 tutties, 2 picks. Joe Flacco last night, 31 of 47, 342, 3 tutties, no picks. Joe Flacco right now today is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. Convince me I'm wrong.
Well, number one, it's a team game. We acknowledge.
You just lost the argument.
No. I did not lose the argument. Who is he throwing to? The best wide receiver core in the league versus the top receiver for the Steelers was the stinking tight end.
Okay.
They don't have the weaponry. Yeah, Freiermuth's a fine player, but he's not.
Oh, DK Metcalf isn't on the Steelers all of a sudden? He's not on the roster?
DK Metcalf is a one-dimensional wide receiver who's very good at that one dimension. It's always been one-dimensional. He runs 2 routes total. He runs a slant. He runs the go route. He's really only good at the go route. And when he doesn't catch the go route, he does a bunch of nothing.
Scored an 80-yard touchdown last week on a slant.
I said a slant and a go route. Those are the only 2 routes he runs.
Okay.
That's it.
So,
they're better receivers. In fact, I'll go a step further. Higgins, greater than Metcalf. The number 2 receiver is better than their number 1 receiver.
You haven't convinced me that Flacco's not better than
Also,
Aaron.
the other part is Flacco had a fluke effect. They didn't know what that old man was going to do. Meanwhile, Rodgers has been playing every single game. As great as Flacco was last night, right now, today, if you look on each team, the better quarterback is clearly the most gifted thrower in the history of the NFL.
Again, so here's the problem.
And the other part is that Hail Mary at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Where the ball, that was the longest pass in the air since 2017.
Tyrone,
it speaks to ability.
No, it doesn't.
It speaks to ability.
No, it speaks to be able to throw the ball far. It's like,
it's ability.
How come, when you go to those long drive competitions, the guy that drives the ball 450 has never won a golf tournament in his life? He just is really good at driving a golf ball.
Well, we know he's not only good at that.
450 yards. Aaron Rodgers threw a ball 70 yards yesterday.
Yeah.
That don't make him a good quarterback.
He is a good quarterback.
It makes him really good at throwing the ball really far. And it was great to watch. That's 70 yards. Great. He threw the ball 70 yards. And here's the problem. That's why you didn't win the game.
I definitely did.
You didn't win the game because I didn't talk about his career. I'm not suggesting that, over the course of their careers that Joe Flacco is better. He's not. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best. I've had a lot of wide receivers who played with him tell me what you just said, the single greatest thrower of the football in the history of the NFL. I accept that. 4-time MVP. He's got the same amount of Super Bowls, of course, as Joe Flacco.
They have equal amount, 1-to-1.
But he has been 10 times better than Joe Flacco career-wise. That was not the statement. The statement was today. I made a point of going today.
Right, and I said even today, who has the better personnel around
But
them?
that's not based on that.
That
I'll
is
give you an
based on that when you
example.
play quarterback.
When Aaron Rodgers played for the New York Jets, he was a bad quarterback, a washed-up quarterback, a quarterback that had seen his better days, a guy that should retire and enjoy his life. All of a sudden, he goes to a better, more competent system, and Aaron Rodgers, to be fair, looks a lot better than he did with the New York Jets. Joe Flacco's experience in Cleveland is akin to Aaron Rodgers' experience in New York. It's not fair to judge them based on the failures they had playing for teams that are completely incompetent when it comes to roster building, play calls, ideology, and how to win football games. When you put these guys in better, more competent situations, which they are both now in, they start to shine more. So we have one opportunity this year to see both of them a head-to-head situation, playing for better teams, better coach teams, better personnel teams. And last night, I don't think there's any debate about it. Joe Flacco outplayed Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
No interceptions, more yards, more completions. Joe Flacco was the better quarterback.
Last night,
So that's the only empirical data I have. So I will tell you right now today that today only, Joe Flacco is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers right now in the moment.
No.
The Bengals are better off having Joe Flacco than if they had Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely not.
And that's a fact.
Absolutely not. Also, conveniently, when you talk about last year, you talk about when Aaron Rodgers was with the Jets, you skip by when Flacco was stinking with the Colts. And don't tell me the Colts.
Bad team.
You're going to tell me the Colts have bad coaching?
Bad team.
How come those same players with Indiana Jones are kicking the league's ass? But when Flacco was out there, they were losing 100 miles per hour. You are a prisoner of the moment, and maybe he was better yesterday. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Didn't you say, prove me wrong today?
Today.
Not yesterday. Today. So I'm to believe that today that would happen again?
All right, Amelia Bedelia.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's just, look, I'm just telling you, man. He looked, I'm shocked.
He looked
by
great.
it.
He looked great last
He looked fantastic.
He looked great. He was
And
unbelievable.
again, he was throwing the ball to one guy the whole night. And the dude's always open.
Always.
And to be fair, I thought one of the 2 interceptions that Aaron threw, I think it was the second one, where DK has the ball and kind of gets ripped out as he goes to the ground. I'm not putting that interception on Aaron Rodgers.
But the other one was.
It's his stat.
But the other one was.
pick was on him 100%. But look, if you're in Pittsburgh, that was such a golden opportunity last night to just take the division and put everybody else to bed. That was the opportunity there because, as we've said a few times on this show, they would have gone to 5-1. Everybody else in the division would have had 5 losses. It would have been a wrap on everybody else in that division. But now if I'm Cincinnati, man, if Flacco can play like that and get us to Joe Burrow coming back, I'm back in it. If I'm the Baltimore Ravens and I'm sitting there licking my wounds at 1-5, and I was looking at the prospect of they're 5-1, I'm 1-5. I got no shot at catching them or winning the division. My only shot is maybe a wild card opportunity. Well, now I know it's still a long shot, but the division's back on the table. That's why last night's game was so important. That's why. And that's why Mike Tomlin earlier in the week said, I don't understand why a team in our division would trade their starting quarterback to a team that is desperate for competent quarterback play. It turns out he was right. And that's why Andrew Berry's got to go. He's got to go not just for Cleveland Browns fans to get some satisfaction this year. He's got to go for the betterment of the NFL. That dude shouldn't have a job in the NFL. And by the way, I win. Flacco's better than Rodgers. Oh, sorry, Tyrone. Got to take a quick break.
Oh, the best part about it is that they're just going about handling their business. I was listening to Arvell Reese and his literally like 5-word sentences about himself and some of the things that Caleb has been talking about. The dudes are just so locked in here about just doing their job and not worrying about all the other things and awards. They know all those happen when you go win and you win decisively.
The Bobby Carpenter Show, only on SportsGrid.
Baker Mayfield is the most important player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are in first place right now, looking dead in the eye of home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They played a bad division. They're going to win a lot of games, and they're the best fourth quarter team, or at least the 2-minute warning team in all football. So, don't sleep on that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Awesome and monumentous win against Oregon. Texas has saved their season. Texas has given themselves life to potentially crash the college football playoff party. For OU, a loss to Texas shouldn't be the end of your season. And yet with that remaining schedule, it feels like it could be. Books certainly pricing it that way. A lot of movement off of the Red River rivalry.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Paige or Caitlin? Who do you take and why?
I think for the WNBA, in a sense where they're moving toward more guards when it's been very post and big heavy in the past. But there's a reason why Caitlin Clark set all those records at college and then went into the WNBA and set all those records immediately. I really do think she's just a different level talent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. If you put your ear out the window right now, you can hear something kind of faintly, but it's a sound that's growing louder and louder. And if you go and try to smell in the air wherever you might be right now, you can actually smell the same thing that I can hear, and it's called panic. And panic is setting in right now in Seattle. All right? For all your guys' tough talk about the Mariners are going to win a World Series and attacking me for the comments I made about Bryce Miller a couple days ago, you have now forfeited a 2-0 series lead against the Toronto Blue Jays and lost back-to-back games at home. Pivotal Game 5 tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And with your season riding on it, guess who's the starting pitcher tonight for the Seattle Mariners? And if you asked a single Mariner fan their level of confidence in tonight's starting pitcher, they might lie to you. They might call me names on Twitter or X and attack me on Instagram. But Seattle Mariner fans are panicking right now. Why? Because the guy that I referred to as a journeyman, who has only played for Seattle throughout his entire Major League Baseball career, Bryce Miller, is the starting pitcher for tonight's pivotal Game 5. Oh, I'm looking at his stats right there. Oh. Is that the kind of guy that you have the utmost of confidence to give you a dominant start in a must-win Game 5, Tyrone?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. ERA over 5. And I did a little bit more digging. And here's what's crazy. I have nothing against Bryce Miller. I'm sure he's a great kid, but I do have something against Mariners fans now. So screw all of you. So by proxy, I'm going to take shots at Bryce Miller. He doesn't deserve this attack of shots, but the Mariner fan base does. You've gone 24 years without getting to an ALCS, and now you guys are bowing out your chest and peacocking around town like you're God's gift to baseball. So the guy that I took a shot at in round 1 of the playoffs, Bryce Miller, is the starting pitcher. So I did a little research, all right? I did a little more research. How many times this year do you think Bryce Miller has gone more than 6 innings of baseball as a starting pitcher?
I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt and say twice.
Twice, okay. How about never?
Oh.
He has never thrown more than 6 innings in a single start all year long, okay? By the way, how many times has he gone 6 innings? All right?
All right.
What do you think the answer to that question is?
I mean, with the way they were talking to you, I'm going to say a dozen times the way
twice.
they were talking.
Twice, right. The way Mariners fans talk, Bryce Miller's the second coming of Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
And the thing you guys kept harping on me about was what he did, not this year, but in 2024.
Well, why does that matter?
Like it's relevant to what's going on this year. Sad to say, it's not. He has been a project this year. He has been injured this year. He's actually having off-season surgery. He's got some bone spurs in his elbow, which means he's also not going to be ready to pitch at the start of the season next year, most likely, kind of like Carlos Rodon for the New York Yankees. They may not be ready until mid-April. Another story for another day. But for all your smack talk, specifically at me and against me throughout this entire weekend, I'm talking millions of views and millions of comments because I referred to him as a journeyman. I went on and said, my bad on that one word. He's not a journeyman. He just pitches like one.
He's just a guy. He's just a guy. That's what it is.
He's just a dude.
Just a guy, yeah.
He has an ERA this year over 5. That's what he is right now. So I ask you, Seattle Mariner fans, what's your level of confidence in winning Game 5 tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays, whose offense has woken up like they're stealing signs from the Yankees again? Like all of a sudden, everybody's hitting the ball for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Vlad Jr. is out of his mind right now once again.
450 now.
They can't keep the ball in the seats when he gets up to the plate. They can't keep the ball out of the seats.
Yep. So I'm just wondering, for all the smack talk, and there was a lot of it, and I suffered the indignity of using one word incorrectly, and I owned it. He's not a journeyman. He just pitches like one. That's the reality. Where are we at, Seattle Mariner fans? Where's your level of confidence? Because the guy you're going against is a guy named Gausman. He's a real starting pitcher.
Yeah, he's done well.
He's a guy that is problematic for the Seattle Mariners. Period. Stop. So I'm going to watch tonight's game, starting at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm going to put my feet up. I'm going to have a Grand Marnier and a Coke. I might have 3 or 4 of them. And believe it or not, as much as I dislike the Toronto Blue Jays from a Yankee perspective, I'm rooting for the Toronto Blue Jays in tonight's game. Here's the one fact you know about Bryce Miller tonight. He's not going to throw 6 innings of baseball. If you're lucky, you get 3 1/3, and you're only down 3 or 4 runs before you go to your bullpen in an attempt to salvage Game 5. And if you lose Game 5 and you get swept at home, you're going back to Toronto down 3-2, and the series is over. So I'll be your punching bag, take all your shots, but when you look in the mirror and you feel those butterflies in your belly, they're all well-founded. You don't trust your starting pitcher in a pivotal Game 5, and you shouldn't. All Blue Jays, all night, deal with it.
Have you been watching Tua Tagovailoa's post-game press conferences where he basically is like, yeah, I'm getting paid, deal with it. By the way, how's the team? Nobody shows up to meetings, players-only meetings, people skip out. Nobody cares around here, and we lost again. Tua threw 3 interceptions. Yes, he's part of the problem. James Franklin got fired from Penn State, we'll talk about later. When is McDaniels getting shown the door? This team is ridiculous, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Tell the coordinators what you want. I just don't get it. I don't. These coaches are so chummy with each other that they don't want to throw their guy under the bus. You're getting paid the $10 million. He's not. Take a rein and change the game plan. Right. If it's not working and the offensive coordinator is not getting it done, you need to have input.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
You love this segment. You nicknamed this segment. You sort of put your mark on it with the rats with the cash.
There's rats.
Right? And they're the
cash,
garbage games.
Although
one of the games...
What are you saying, rats hang out in garbage? What's wrong with
you? Yeah, they do. Hang out in New York City. You'll see it.
A lot of rats in New York City. That's the way it is, man. Hey, we don't want to throw out any names out there. Exactly.
Philly, too. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
You may be surprised, because I am, that the athlete in the world who has become the first billionaire is Cristiano Ronaldo. I did not know that, and I did not have that on my bingo card. So after his contract that he just signed, it means that he's the first athlete to ever earn $1 billion playing sports.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. College football in just 1 second. Can you guys, once again, give me the video of Shedeur Sanders working out at that local high school? I think it's called Wallace High School in Cleveland. Nothing against Shedeur Sanders. It's great. Hey, you're working out, right? You're out there getting reps in. You can't knock a kid for out there. You're getting reps. Yeah. But everything's being videotaped by his people. All right, this is an attempt to try to curry favor, I think, with NFL writers and pundits and shows like this. Look how hard the kid works. Look how much Shedeur Sanders cares. And maybe he does. I can't wrap my head around the fact that you're an NFL football player. And I know it's their bye week, right?
Yeah.
But you're an NFL football player who has the greatest of all services made available to you because you're a quarterback of an NFL team. Meaning, if you really want to get work in and become a better quarterback at the NFL level, doesn't it make sense to all of you that you would practice and work out at the NFL facility that you're a member of? They've got fields. They've got balls. They've got trainers. They've got wide receivers willing to go out there and catch the ball as you throw routes, what they call on air, meaning no defense there, right? Mm-hmm. You have coaches there that would love to spend extra time with you and help you perfect your craft so that one day they can turn the ball over to you and give you a shot maybe to be their starting quarterback. And the thing that just rubs me weird is not the kid's work ethic. It looks like he's working out. Great, all good. It's the fact that he's going to a local high school with his own camera crew to film his workout, and he's not going to the Cleveland Browns facility under the guise of their experts and their coaches and their trainers and their wide receivers, et cetera, and doing the workouts there. And it's a really strange thing. I've done this a very, very long time. I have traveled with and covered multiple NFL teams. I know what I'm talking about. I have never seen a quarterback, no matter where he is on the depth chart, in the middle of a regular season, leave the team facility to go work out on a regular basis at a local high school. I have never seen that from any quarterback in the history of football. And the only way I can take it is it's him snubbing his nose, giving the middle finger to Kevin Stefanski and the Browns. You won't start me, you won't play me, then I'm not going to practice with you. I'm not going to learn from you. I'm not going to go to you. I'm going to do it on my own. And it's another example of why it's so hard for me to back this kid, support him, and want to see him succeed at the NFL level. I've never witnessed this, ever. I traveled with and covered the Cleveland Browns way back early in my career. I traveled with and covered the Philadelphia Eagles under Rich Kotite and Ray Rhodes in the mid-90s. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks on a lot of football teams. I have never in my life, in the middle of a season, seen a quarterback, in this case, second on the depth chart, that leaves an NFL facility to practice without NFL people at a local high school. And it's not like he went to the high school as like a Make-A-Wish thing or like to help out the local team and see how their quarterback's playing and be a member of the community. He's going there to film himself doing it, to thumb his nose at the Cleveland Browns because they chose Dylan Gabriel over him. And it's weird to me. And I don't want to come in here every day and take shots at Shedeur Sanders. He's a backup quarterback I don't think about all that much. But he makes it impossible not to comment on some of the dopey decisions he makes. Like, and I'll give you the example. If the video came out, not from him, from the Browns, that Shedeur Sanders asked a bunch of the wide receivers on the Browns, or Njoku, they're starting tight or whomever, to get extra work in with him to prepare him for the inevitable, Dylan Gabriel getting hurt or playing poorly and getting his crack, that's a story we can embrace. That's a story you wrap your arms around and you go, that's what I wanted to see out of this kid. But when you don't invite Browns wide receivers or tight ends or coaching staff, when you don't do it at the Browns facility, when you instead leave the facility, go to a high school, and bring your own camera crew with you to document how hard you're working, it just feels wrong.
Now, the camera part, I understand because this goes back to when he was still at Jackson State, even before he got to Colorado. The crew has been following him for the whole time.
He's a great streamer.
That part, I'm talking about the video part while playing football. He was very successful in college.
Yeah.
That's not new. The leaving the facility is the part that doesn't make sense.
It's weird. I'm just telling you.
That bothers me.
And it's not, look, I love Deion Sanders. I've never wavered on that. He's one of my favorite athletes of all time, and he's doing some really cool stuff at Colorado. They're not winning enough for all the boisterous stuff, but he's doing a lot of really cool stuff behind the scenes that we'll get to a little bit later on in the show. But I can tell you, I've never in my life seen this before. And I know there's a segment of people that adore him because of Deion, that see nothing wrong in anything he does. They love the mime stuff in the locker room. I'm sure they love this. They want to point out to people like me, oh, you're just a hater. Look at the work ethic. How many guys you know that'll go do that? The answer is none. I know a lot of guys that put in extra time at the team facility. I know a lot of guys that live in the weight room. I know a lot of guys that really try to perfect their craft. But if you go to the local high school and you're throwing to a high school kid or one of your buddies who's not an NFL caliber athlete, well, that doesn't mean nothing to me. You're not getting the tutelage you need. Say what you want about Kevin Stefanski. He's regarded as a pretty good coach when it comes to building up quarterbacks.
That I don't buy.
Could argue that.
I don't buy.
You could argue that. He has had no success in Cleveland. But this is just a weird thing. Anyway, I had to get it out there because the video's gone. Everyone's saying, oh, look how hard he's working. How could the Browns not want a guy like that to run their franchise? Because he's not doing it with them. He's a loner.
Yeah, he's got to do it with them.
It's a 52+1 situation in Cleveland, and that just sucks. Now, what doesn't suck is this weekend's college football docket. And there's one particular game I'm very interested in because I'm a huge Lane Kiffin guy. He's figured it out at Ole Miss. They're going to be in the tournament, come January or mid-December, starting in mid-December. And it's Ole Miss against Georgia.
Yeah, it's a big game.
And here's my issue for Ole Miss. They struggled against Washington last week, got out with a dub, undefeated, still 5-0, and I'm a huge Lane Kiffin guy. Because of the injury to the original starting quarterback, their new starting quarterback, who's done a really good job, Chambliss, the D2 kid who they found, on his huddle account.
Yeah, he was getting ready to be at Temple, and they swooped in and took him to be the backup. Yep.
He has never played a road game at this level in his life.
That's right.
There's a reason that an undefeated Ole Miss team is more than a touchdown underdog on the road against Georgia.
Funny you say that. It was 9.5. Since we started show prep, it's dropped another point. It's now only 6.5.
All right, so all the money right now jumped on Ole Miss getting more than a touchdown.
Yeah.
That big a change would make me a little
3 points. 3 points.
A little cockeyed about it.
Just to give you the up to the minute.
But the money's being spent, I think, in the wrong spot. Yeah. I think this is an impossible win for Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, and I'm an Ole Miss guy because I love Lane Kiffin. I have begged the Jets to bring him back. He used to be a ball boy there back in the early 90s, and I would love Lane Kiffin to be my head coach. I have nothing but love for that dude, right? But this is an impossible spot for an inexperienced quarterback who has never played on the road. And Georgia's a different place to play for your first ever road game. I would tell you this. If Chambliss plays a great game and Ole Miss pulls off what I would consider a major upset against Georgia, and he's the reason they win, he becomes a Heisman Trophy candidate overnight. He won't win it, but he has to be in the conversation because I think he's in an impossible spot against a really good Georgia team with one loss already this year. You can't lose 2 games and win a tournament. That shouldn't be allowed. They probably would still get in. I cannot wait to watch this game Saturday afternoon, and I just don't see any way that Ole Miss pulls off the dub.
It's a really tough spot. It's a really tough spot for them to go on the road.
And I don't think it changes the fact that they'll be in the playoff and win out and be fine.
Yeah.
But that, to me, that is the game. That is the game. I am pumped to watch it. And sadly, I think Georgia beats them by a lot.
I mean, their quarterback play has been good. Their defense hasn't been as good. Talking about Georgia, the only path is if Georgia's defense stinks. I don't believe their defense stinks.
No, I don't see that. And this is their season, Georgia, by the way. And by the I know all the money's, I get it.
Huge.
I understand why the money's on Ole Miss because a lot of you are saying to yourselves, Ole Miss is undefeated. Getting a touchdown or more, that's easy money. There's a reason the public loses a lot of money every week trying to gamble on professional sports. Don't be that fool. Stay with Georgia. Georgia's going to win this game by a lot.
$20 million too much as far as I'm concerned, but it's not like you're indebted to him or you have to follow through with him. Like, what are we doing? Try to win the damn game by bringing in a quarterback that can actually throw the ball. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what the loyalty to Fields is here and why you thought he gave you the best shot at winning that game without going to the bench.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Hopefully these go better. I'm smashed before 1 on these games. I cannot believe that this game destroyed me. I can. Why did I get involved live? That's on me, not
That
you.
is on you.
All right.
That's on you.
You didn't have to run up the score. I said it was on me.
It was on you.
All right.
You just didn't see the writing on the wall. Knee it! Let's get out of Dodge!
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Can I get an ISO? Come on. Give me the ISO over here.
Give me the ISO. He wants the camera.
Look, I'm going to get nice and comfortable right now. I've been telling you people out there, yes, you people, about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. My connection to the Irish growing up as a kid. I hated that team. But they called me at the network the most unbiased man here, which means I'm giving you the information straight from the mouth here. You don't have to go anywhere. You get it from me.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I think Kendre Miller's role continues to grow in this offense. So I think as you're looking at bye weeks continuing on and looking for running back depth, as always, we all know the dynamic can change in a minute, right? We've done this so many times in the last couple of weeks. We were adding Woody Marks before his game. We were adding Brashard Smith last week. I still want to add Brashard Smith this week. I want to add the guys that I think have upside for the second half, and Kendre Miller is definitely one of those backs.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on
Hi, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone's got his award-winning picks coming up in probably about 15 minutes or so. And what are you, 11-1 thus far?
14-2.
14-2, which is very hard to believe. We're going to go back and check to make sure he's not lying.
Hey, check.
We're going to check.
We got video.
We're going to check.
We got video.
I have my staff checking right now to make sure you're not lying to us. I don't follow your picks throughout the entire season.
I do.
I just trust that you're not a liar. That's all.
There's a lot of hate
By the way,
coming from
what do
staff.
they call the Utah-BYU game? Any idea?
You said what the?
What do they call the Utah-BYU game?
It's the Holy War.
The Holy War.
The Holy War, yeah. I love it. I love it. The Holy War.
BYU doesn't have the Jewish quarterback anymore. He went to Tulane.
He went to Tulane.
Yeah, which would be more fun for me. But
He played it last year. He won it last year. He won it last year.
Yeah, I think that's why they got rid of him. Anyway, that's coming up. You also have USC, Notre Dame. USC is a top 25 team. All of a sudden playing really good football. News and notes. All the negativity in the world. There's unfair negativity, I think, being passed towards my main man, Travis Hunter, who got baptized last Sunday in the morning. So good for him. He's got Jesus in his life now, and he wants to live life differently. I totally applaud that. But, people are like, Travis Hunter's not as good as being the second overall pick, and Travis Hunter's not doing this and that. I went in, I did a little studying.
Yeah.
Just solely on the defensive side.
Yes.
So Travis Hunter thus far has guarded Jamar Chase, JSN, and Xavier Worthy man-to-man for a good majority of those 3 games that he played against their respective teams.
Yes.
He has led up thus far 6 games in to his rookie NFL season. And by the way, plays about 15 to 20 snaps a game, maybe a little more than that, on offense as well.
As well, yeah.
Thus far this year, Travis Hunter, in 6 games, has allowed 96 total yards.
Wow.
That is the definition of a shutdown cornerback. He doesn't have any picks because they don't throw the ball at him because they're scared to. He goes step for step, man to man, against 3 of the best and fastest wide receivers in the sport. So there are times you can't judge a defensive back just based on how many picks he has, right?
Right.
He has led up 0 touchdowns, and he's only allowed 96 yards when playing man-to-man against the other team's best wide receiver over the course of 6 games. It's absurd what he's doing as a shutdown cornerback. And then you add to it what he's doing, which is not great yet, but good offensively as a wide receiver. He was absolutely worth the contract he got and the status of being the second overall pick in the draft. He's having a great rookie season down in Jacksonville.
Just to add a little context, Revis Island, we all know how great he was. He had 4 different seasons in his prime where he had 1 or less interceptions.
Yeah, you can't judge it on picks.
Because, again, you don't throw to those guys.
Dude, Xavier Worthy, JSN, Jamar Chase. And then 3 other games he's played.
Right.
96 total yards. Travis Hunter's a stud, love him to death. Number 2, Deion did something great yesterday. So there's a bunch of dudes that are never going to step on the field of Colorado.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the same for every
team.
D1 school in America. Mm-hmm. So what Deion did yesterday, he had an inter-squad scrimmage, and the scrimmage was played by all those dudes who are really good athletes, but just not quite good enough to crack the starting lineup at Colorado.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not capable of playing somewhere else. So Deion filmed a full-on game, like an inter-squad scrimmage, with all the dudes that never get into regular games for Colorado. And he did it for a reason, not to punish the starters. He wanted all of those kids to be able to have tape so they could put it on their Huddle account, enter the portal, and possibly go to a different D1 school where they'll have a chance to play. Say what you want about Deion. He's got plenty of faults and things that you could certainly take umbrage with. But when it comes to how he treats those kids, he's money good. And I don't know of another coach that I've heard of that has ever gone out of his way to have a scrimmage solely to give kids an opportunity to go play somewhere else.
It's great.
And I applaud it. I think it's awesome that he does it. Matter of fact, I think we have sound of it.
Yeah.
Just real quick. Yeah, let's not. Let's do it. Why not? Here's
like
Deion.
that.
Check this out.
A lot of you guys that don't get to play, you're going to get your chance today. All right, this is your chance because I'm not crazy enough to think that all of you are going to be in this room next year. Some of you are going to jump in the portal. This is an opportunity for you to get some portal film. Okay? So I'm the kind of coach that's going to make sure we cut it, hype it up, give it to you however you want it, and make sure you're looking good in your portal tape.
I just think it's awesome, and we need more of that. And those kids who are probably frustrated that they don't get to play, and why did I come to Colorado, are now being given a chance to put more video of themselves out there excelling. And a lot of those kids will get other opportunities at other D1 schools to play football. Look, I have a son who plays college football. I think it's great. Yeah. Because there are kids that never get on the field. My son's not one of them, but there are a lot of kids that never get on the field, and they just want that little opportunity to show other schools, dude, I can still play. So I think it's great.
One quick note, he also had the cheerleaders come out for this and as many band members as could to create an atmosphere for those guys.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I hope he stays at Colorado. He's not had the success you want thus far, but what he inherited to where they are now, Deion's done a pretty good job. Curt Cignetti's done a great job. Think about this. In 2007, Curt Cignetti was the Alabama wide receiver coach, making $170,000. Wow. In 2010, he was still at Alabama coaching wide receivers. He got a raise up to $250,000. Great living, college campus. Some great money. All good. Like a lot of people, you take that for the rest of your life. Fast forward to now. This year, Curt Cignetti is making $4.5 million as the head coach at Indiana. They just extended him at $11.6 million a year. It's essentially a $100 million contract.
Fully guaranteed.
Because they don't want him going to Penn State or anywhere else that has an opening like Florida, maybe Alabama. Curt Cignetti is now Indiana's man for the next decade. It is very well deserved. And for you cult members of Penn State, sorry, that's another name. Whoop, whoop, you can cross off the list. And I got time for one more, I think, right? 1 minute, why not? This is like an annual event, but it happened this morning when we first walked into the building here to do the show. It is now official. When the Philadelphia 76ers open up their season on Tuesday, Paul George will not be on the court. Wednesday, pardon me.
That's fine.
He has already been ruled out of the season opener for the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah. But there's a little good news for you Philly fans. Joel Embiid's going to play 5 minutes tonight. And if he doesn't get hurt or fall down, they think he might play in the opener on Wednesday on a minutes restriction. But it looks like he might play. But the annuity has come through. Paul George not playing in the Sixers opener.
Come on. I don't know why it's so funny. The Knicks are fine. Why you got to rub it in? The Knicks are fine.
The Knicks are the best team in basketball. And the Sixers, once again, are without their boy George. Oh, so sorry. Coming up, Tyrone's picks and a final thought or two on the NFL. Hang on.
The best part about it is that they're just going about handling their business. I was listening to Arvell Reese and his literally like 5-word sentences about himself and some of the things that Caleb has been talking about. The dudes are just so locked in here about just doing their job and not worrying about all of the other things and awards. They know all those happen when you go win and you win decisively.
The Bobby Carpenter Show, only on SportsGrid.
Baker Mayfield is the most important player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are in first place right now, looking dead in the eye of home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They played a bad division. They're going to win a lot of games, and they're the best fourth quarter team, or at least the 2-minute warning team in all football. So, don't sleep on that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Awesome and monumentous win against Oregon. Texas has saved their season. Texas has given themselves life to potentially crash the college football playoff party. For OU, a loss to Texas shouldn't be the end of your season. And yet with that remaining schedule, it feels like it could be. Books certainly pricing it that way. A lot of movement off of the Red River rivalry.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Paige or Caitlin? Who do you take and why?
I think for the WNBA, in a sense where they're moving toward more guards when it's been very post and big heavy in the past. But there's a reason why Caitlin Clark set all those records at college and then went into the WNBA and set all those records immediately. I really do think she's just a different level talent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. We're going to have Tyrone's picks come up in a second. There's some interesting news, some scuttlebutt happening right now in Philadelphia. The Eagles, of course, are playing the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
So it's like the Carson Wentz revenge game for Minnesota. Eagles are coming off back-to-back losses. There was apparently an emergency meeting, another one. You remember last week there was the lunch with Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts that A.J. Brown didn't want to talk about. And the guys were like, why are you asking us about this? It wasn't a meeting. It was a meeting to try to clear the air amongst the three guys to get the offense back on track. Then they lost to the New York Giants, and the offense was not quite back on track, right?
Right.
Well, now I'm being told that there was another emergency meeting between Jalen Hurts and embattled offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo.
Okay.
Now, Kevin Patullo is a longtime friend, apparently, of Nick Sirianni's.
Yes.
And has been on the staff for a while, and that's how he got elevated to offensive coordinator when your boy went down to New Orleans to head to coach the Saints, right? But there are rumblings in Philadelphia. The Eagles have the Vikings this weekend, and then the rematch against the Giants, and then the bye week.
Yeah.
That Kevin Patullo, not my words, it's coming from Philly. Apparently, the word in Philadelphia is he's got these two games to figure it out. And if the Eagles offense does not get figured out against Minnesota and or the New York Giants, that Kevin Patullo will be removed from his duties as offensive coordinator during the bye week. And whoever they elevate or bring in, I don't know who else is on that staff, to be honest, that would replace him. Or maybe Nick Sirianni tries to take over play calling, which was an abject failure early in his career.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. For as much as it appears like Philly will be fine because there's just too much talent there for them not to be fine.
Yeah.
The fact that people that cover the Eagles are now, circulating this alleged story that Patullo's on thin ice, and if they go to the bye week and the offense still hasn't, fired on all cylinders against an aggressive defense in Minnesota and a really good defensive front, if nothing else, with the New York Giants and with revenge, having just been embarrassed by the Giants 2 weeks ago and their rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart, that you will have a new offensive coordinator, which tells you that the Philadelphia Eagles, in a lot of ways, are kind of like a duck. You ever see a duck on a lake?
A Super Bowl winning duck. Yeah. I never seen a duck win a Super Bowl.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Super Bowl winning duck. That's fine.
Duck.
Have you ever seen a duck on a lake surface?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And it looks like, that duck's so calm and comfortable, not a thing in the world can bother that duck.
It's about his legs under the
If
water.
you look the water, those little duck feet are paddling like panic, so the duck doesn't drown. The Eagles
The duck's
are
not drown. They're going to drown so the duck can move.
No, they don't want to drown.
Go and get against the current.
Yeah, no, ducks
They
are heavy.
don't float. Anyway, go ahead.
A duck doesn't float. A duck
does float.
He's got powerful little duck hooves of his and stay above the water. Anyhow, the Eagles are like a duck. That's what they are. To a lot of you, at 4-2, it looks like, we'll be fine. Nothing to see here. We're not going to lose to Carson Wentz and then Jackson Dart again.
Well, they can lose the Wentz. They can lose the Wentz.
They can't lose to Carson Wentz.
They could.
At 38 years old?
They could.
Journeyman quarterback.
He's not 38 years old. He has played for 7 teams in 7 years.
He's played for a lot
17
of teams.
for 7 years. It's so crazy.
Watch, just be careful. Keep an eyeball on that Eagle-Viking game because you're about 2 weeks away from having a new offensive coordinator. And next time you see the Eagles, just think of the duck. Think of the duck. It's a great analogy.
I'm disgusted
They're
by
a
this.
duck. That's what they are.
I'm disgusted
All right.
by this.
Time now for Tyrone's winning picks. He is 14-2 this year with his documented picks, and he's got 3 more coming your way. Go ahead.
Yes, indeed. 2 in college, 1 in pro once again. We start off with Miami, a top 3 team. The U is back. They're 13.5-point favorites against Louisville at home.
Okay.
I think not only do they win, I think they cover fairly easily. I like Miami.
Miami's coming off a bye week also.
Coming off the bye week, I like them minus the 13.5.
Okay. By the way, give Tyrone credit. He had Pitt last week in college.
Yeah.
Plus 10.5, won outright.
Won outright.
And they had that freshman quarterback you love.
Yeah, that's a future first-round pick. Washington, I like them plus 5.5 at Michigan. This week, Michigan's coach was wearing a bunch of costumes. I don't think that kind of stuff works with these college kids. I like Washington plus the 5.5 on the road at Michigan. And last in the NFL, I know Giants fans, you're feeling great, and you should feel great.
Yep.
I love the Broncos minus the 7 versus the Giants this week.
I do too. The Broncos have the best defense that Jackson Dart will have seen to date.
Yeah.
The London thing, I don't think is a factor, the travel and all that stuff at all. And they played their worst game of the year in beating the New York Jets because the Jets' offense is that bad. This game, I'm not a Giants fan. Obviously, I'm a Jets fan. If I were a Giant fan, I know you guys are all getting a little cocky and blowing out your chest and peacocking around town because Jackson Dart has looked good.
He has.
This is a problem spot for the Giants. I think the New York Giants are going to have a very, very tough time in Denver. I would not be shocked if you're looking at 2 or 3 interceptions from Dart and a very tough time to score. I think the Denver Broncos beat them by double digits. I'm with you.
Yes.
Have yourselves a great weekend. We'll be back here Monday with all the stories from the weekend, and we appreciate you watching and downloading the podcast, The Craig Carton Show. Have a blessed weekend. Peace out.